Has it now been revealed how Russia quietly breached NATO's defenses and spied on Europe's nuclear infrastructure, using drones and covert ships to map out the West's most sensitive sites? Are Europe's nukes effectively on Putin's fingertips, as Russian drones allegedly left nothing to chance while they circled over air bases, submarine pens and Allied patrol routes? Are Putin's supposed victims now crying foul after 144 drone incidents across Europe, asking how such an extensive campaign was allowed to play out largely unchecked? How did Russia manage to surveil Europe almost without a trace, and what new details are now emerging about a shadow fleet that slipped under radars and around air defenses? Amid soaring tensions between NATO and Russia, a new report claims Putin's shadow fleet was used to spy on Europe's nuclear infrastructure and military hubs. Investigators say Russian drones were allegedly launched from covert shadow fleet vessels, flying in to spy on NATO sites before disappearing back over the sea. A report from the International Institute for Strategic Studies links 144 drone incidents across Europe to what it describes as a single, suspected Russian surveillance campaign. The alleged surveillance campaign is reported to have run from late 2024 through early 2026, quietly gathering data while governments focused on Ukraine. RAF Lakenheath in the UK was among the sites reportedly targeted, just as it prepared to host US nuclear weapons again for the first time in decades. In the United Kingdom, reported drone activity focused on RAF Lakenheath, Fairford, Mildenhall and Feltwell, all key nodes in NATO's air and nuclear posture. In France, the Isle-Long nuclear submarine base, home to Paris's sea-based deterrent, was listed among the locations of concern. In Belgium, drones were reportedly sighted near Kleinbrogel Air Base, long suspected of hosting US nuclear gravity bombs. In the Netherlands, Focal Air Base was flagged, another site tied to NATO's shared nuclear mission and frontline strike aircraft. Even around neutral Ireland, the report says Russian assets monitored Irish naval activity, filling in the map of Western maritime movements. The report concludes that many drones were likely launched from dark-sailing shadow fleet ships, merchant-style vessels operating with their identities masked. Some of these ships reportedly switched off their trackers during operations, vanishing from civilian systems while they deployed and recovered drones. Researchers believe certain vessels acted as drone recovery or signal relay platforms, extending the range and persistence of unmanned flights over Europe. The campaign is said to draw heavily on tactics first refined in the Ukraine war, where Russia learned how to blend commercial shipping and military surveillance. According to the study, Western militaries failed to capture or shoot down any of the suspected drones, raising uncomfortable questions about NATO's air defenses at home. In Britain, a police helicopter reportedly tracked drones but was ordered to pull back over safety concerns, leaving the aircraft to disappear into the night. Analysts say the campaign likely sought detailed nuclear surveillance across Europe, from base layouts to patrol habits and security routines. The ISS report also cites broader reconnaissance, logistics mapping and psychological warfare as key motives, using drones to unsettle and probe NATO states. Drone sightings allegedly peaked in September and November of last year, coinciding with major war games and moments of heightened tension. Incidents are said to have declined only after European navies began seizing shadow fleet vessels in 2026, signaling that the quiet war at sea had finally been noticed. A new report has claimed that China and Russia quietly deepened their military partnership through a covert training program. A Reuters investigation published on July 1 detailed how China's military allegedly trained Russian forces during 2025. According to the Reuters report, Russian President Vladimir Putin personally approved the classified military training initiative. Putin's defense minister, along with 4 senior Russian and Chinese generals, was reportedly kept fully informed of the program. A delegation from the Russian armed forces allegedly traveled to China to undergo specialized training at People's Liberation Army facilities. Russia's deputy commander of the land forces reportedly led the visiting military delegation throughout the program in China. The reported curriculum included radiological, chemical and biological warfare as part of the specialized military instruction. However, China's foreign ministry firmly denied that any such military training exercises had taken place with Russian forces, according to Reuters. The reported China-Russia military training program has alarmed European capitals, although Beijing continues to reject the allegations. Many European analysts believe China is increasingly enabling Russia's military campaign against Ukraine through growing strategic cooperation. The revelation surfaced shortly after Russia and China conducted joint Air Force exercises during June 2026. On June 27, China and Russia carried out their 11th Joint Strategic Air Patrol over the Pacific, adding another chapter to a pattern of increasingly frequent flights. The mission reportedly lasted 6 hours and covered the Sea of Japan, the East China Sea and the wider Western Pacific, brushing past several sensitive flashpoints. Chinese H-6K bombers flew in formation with Russian Tu-95MS strategic bombers, showcasing how both air forces can now operate side by side over contested waters. Moscow and Beijing insist the patrol is meant to show their ability to uphold regional stability, framing heavy bomber flights as a contribution to peace, not pressure. Russia's defense ministry has stressed that the operation was not aimed at any third country, even as neighbors interpret the move as a pointed reminder of firepower. Footage released by the PLA showed J-10C fighters, Sukhoi 30 MKK jets and YY-20 tankers supporting the patrol, underscoring that this was a full strike package, not just bombers. The same video featured KJ-500A early warning aircraft flying with H-6K bombers, highlighting China's use of radar and command planes to control long-range missions. Russia's Tu-95 strategic bombers were seen flying close to Chinese aircraft, a visual demonstration of just how integrated these joint patrols have now become.